We talked about this last class, where we have to use the equation x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. I'll write that up here for you guys. Alright. So, let's make sure that we do this bell ringer because I will be
The drill is now over. You may go back to your class.
Let's make sure that we are doing this on our little half sheet of paper, and I will be collecting this. I'll give you guys a few minutes to work on it. Let's not do it, please.
Mine came up, but it's blurry.
What's K? What's K? I don't either. He works about it. You really think about it? If you really look at the really
Alright, so let's make sure that we're doing both problems on the bell ringer, please. I see a lot of us that have done the first problem. Making sure I get
what could he possibly? I know that is possible.
Okay. Then I didn't send it to you.
I'm not sure.
Alright, guys. Okay. Now let's stop.
Oh yeah.
So anyone want to put an example on the board?
No. Not even. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I'm nervous.
How about this? How about I'll do the first one, and then one of you guys do the second one?
Deal.
Okay.
I'll do the second one. I'll do the
Zero.
second one.
You will?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have to plug in the information into the equation that's given here. The center is 6, 2, and remember, the center is h, k. So I'm going to replace the h with the 6 and the k with the 2, and then I'll replace the r with my radius, which is 4. So what we get is x minus 6 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 4 squared, which is 16. Now, in number 1, it tells you all the information that you need, but in number 2, instead of telling you the information, it kind of shows you the information by giving you a graph. Now, I've seen several of us complete this one already. I'll give you.
That's the answer to number 1?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I already meant that. I thought that was I had to do some numbers.
Did you get the second one?
What?
by not talking. All right, so Courtney identified that the center was at the point 1, 3. So the center is 1, 3. And the distance from the center to the circle is 2 units. So we have to plug in h and k, and then we have to square the radius. So we get x minus 1 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 4. That's a very good job. Go ahead and pass these forward, please. And we're going to begin our notes for today. Now, we're going to be doing a similar concept, but instead of being given the center and radius, we're going to be given the endpoints of the diameter of a circle. So we'll have to use formulas that we've talked about in previous years, most likely in geometry or algebra 1, the distance formula and the midpoint formula. And that's going to help us write equations for circles. So we're still dealing with the same standard form of an equation of a circle. Still going to be using the same standard form that we used for the bell ringer. All right. So. Going a little slow today. See? All right, so today we're going to have 2 objectives. We're going to write the equation of a circle given the endpoints of its diameters. We're going to have to review the distance formula and the midpoint formula. Ultimately, we need to find the length of that diameter, and then given the length of the diameter, how do we find the radius? Just divide by 2. And then find the center. We know the midpoint of a diameter is going to be the center of a circle. And then we're going to do a real-world problem. So here are the distance formulas and the midpoint formula. Now, the distance formula, what we do is we take the x's, we subtract them and then square it, and then add that to the difference of the y's and then square it, and then take the square root. I would say that the distance formula and the midpoint formula, they look more complicated than they really are. So the midpoint formula, all I'm really doing is I want to take the average of the x's, comma, the average of the y's. So it's x1 plus x2 over 2, comma, y1 plus y2 over 2. But it's much easier to remember it if I just say, okay, average the x's, average the y's. So let's go ahead and look at an example. So it's asking us to write the standard form of an equation for the circles, and it's giving us the ends of a diameter. So the ends of the diameter in problem number 1 are negative 6, 3 and negative 2, 12. Ultimately, what I need to figure out is the center and the radius. So we need to find the center. I don't know why it's gone so slow. The center.
Reset thing.
Yeah, try calibrate.
Reset? Where's the reset button?
Like at the bottom. Or at the thing.
It might be your computer. You might have to reset your computer.
This has never happened before. Maybe that just close a couple things.
No, I'm not.
Awkward everywhere.
All right, hopefully that helps. All right. So we still have the spinning wheel, which is not good.
So that's why I use the rest of why this is well.
That's fine. Make it quick. Okay. So let's go ahead and start talking about how we would do this. I'll work it out over here on the whiteboard. So the ends of the diameter are -6,3 and -212. So I need to use the distance formula and the midpoint formula. So the first thing I want to do, I need to find my center and I need to find my radius. All right. So to find the center, what I need to do is use the midpoint formula. So I need to average my x's and average my y's. So to find the center, I need to average my x's and average my y's. So looking at problem number 1, what is the average of my x's? My x's are -6 and -2, and I need to average them together. So add them up, divide by 2. Someone raise your hand and tell me what you get. What? Good, -4. Okay. Now I need to average the y's. We have 3 and 12. 3 and 12, so I need to add them up and divide by 2 to take the average. What? You can say it's fraction or it's a decimal. Yeah. Yeah, 7.5. All right. So finding the center, that's a little bit easier than finding the radius because we're just averaging the x's and averaging the y's. To find the radius, I'm first going to need to find the length of the diameter by using the distance formula on those 2 points. So the distance formula is x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, and then take the square root of that whole thing. So I just need to plug in my numbers. So what I have is x2 is negative